Time now for Mike's Big Fat Idea. Jamie Switzer is with me, Senior VP, Raymond James in Vancouver. Hey, Jamie, what's our big fat idea this week?
Mike, we're going to take a look at renewable energy.
Okay. You better go further with that one. Why? How do you do it? That kind of stuff.
Well, with the recent push by local governments to focus on green energy initiatives, pushed a lot of big players into the spotlight in recent years. There's only a few of the larger scale ones, and so I'm going to take a look at a few options for investors.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you're looking at renewable energy. Give us a couple of examples.
Well, Brookfield's the largest, about $8 billion in market capital. TransAlta is a little smaller, about $3 billion. A lot of companies have exposure to green energy, but there's only a few pure play options. And both of these have diverse revenue streams with a focus on traditional wind, solar, and hydroelectric.
Now, usually are these companies getting government, government contracts is what I was looking to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can help or hinder because there's so many, ongoing changes to policy. So, some of the changes are hugely beneficial. Others definitely hurt them. With most of the companies are Alberta-based oil and gas that we look to for energy exposure, and Clean Option, can act as a complement or even replace some of those names in a portfolio.
And so give us a couple of, can you give us a couple of specific names? You said Brookfield is one.
Brookfield is the largest. TransAlta would be a close second. And then, even local boy Ross Beatty's got Altera Power, which is having some success, but still, earlier stage and speculative.
And what kind of things are you looking for in a company like this? Is it the quality of their contracts, that kind of thing? Are they in a growth phase? What separates companies in this space?
Well, they're interesting options because there's a lot of benefits. They're growing quickly, while still speculative. They're paying huge dividends relative to the banks and insurers, et cetera. So it can fit into a lot of different portfolios and appeal to a lot of investors.
And as you say, there's some difference in size, et cetera. So I know this is a broad question, Jamie, but who's it appropriate for? What part of my portfolio?
Yeah, it depends on the size of the portfolio and your risk appetite, obviously. But, an $8 billion market cap for Brookfield, appealing to a wide variety of investors, whereas if you're looking at something like TransAlta, that'd probably be mid-tier, and an Altera option would be definitely a speculative junior component.
Do you know off the top of your head what Brookfield Renewable Partners pays in dividends? Or
Brookfield is at around 6%, and TransAlta is pushing 7%.
And they qualify for the Canadian dividend tax credit?
Correct.
Okay, so obviously that's there's that big search for yield, as full well in your job being a senior VP at Raymond James. So again, just give me that risk profile here. It's when you talk. I'm only talking about the big ones now. So Brookfield, you would this be sort of a conservative growth kind of deal, or TransAlta?
I would say more conservative within a riskier, framework, and TransAlta would be a step down from that, but higher growth.
Yeah. And just quickly, how long when I buy something, we should always know, obviously the risk is number one, but also what kind of time frame? And we're not talking to traders here today, for example.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy this without giving it some time to sit, and they're growing so quickly, both of them, and they're paying you while you wait. So I would be patient with this and not look at it as a trade at all.
Yeah, so you're talking a couple of years anyways,
absolutely,
as you say, to watch this thing develop. And of course, it's in a sector, a space that seems to be getting more and more prominent. And I'm with you completely. If you're going to be in that space, I think you want to pay close attention to the leaders in that space for safety's sake.
Yeah, and a lot of companies have exposure, but it's a small component of what they do on a larger scale.
Well, it's great stuff. Very interesting stuff, Jamie. And, of course, people should go. They check with their financial advisor. Jamie Switzer is a Senior Vice President, Raymond James in Vancouver. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me back, Mike.